Everyone knows Clint Eastwood as a Hollywood legend, but the story behind the image is far more complicated than many people realize. For decades, audiences saw him as the tough, quiet hero who seemed larger than life, yet his personal journey was filled with struggles, controversies, triumphs, and deeply private family matters that remained hidden from public view. Born Clinton Eastwood Jr. on May 31, 1930, in San Francisco, California, he grew up during the difficult years of the Great Depression. His father moved from job to job while the family relocated frequently across Northern California. Eventually, they settled in Piedmont, where Eastwood spent most of his youth. Although he later spoke about hardship and struggle, his teenage years were more stable than many assumed. School never interested him much, and he often found himself in trouble. After graduating, he worked a series of odd jobs including lifeguard, grocery clerk, steelworker, and forest firefighter, drifting through life without a clear direction. Everything changed when he was drafted into the U.S. Army during the Korean War era. While stationed in California, he survived a terrifying plane crash in the Pacific Ocean, swimming to shore after the aircraft went down in the dark. It was the kind of experience that could have ended his story before it even began. After leaving the military, Eastwood moved to Los Angeles and pursued acting while working whatever jobs he could find. Early success proved elusive. Universal Studios signed him based largely on his appearance, but his first contract ended quickly when executives criticized his acting ability. Rather than giving up, he continued pushing forward until he landed the role of Rowdy Yates in the television series Rawhide in 1959. The show made him recognizable across America, but Hollywood still viewed him as little more than a television cowboy. His fortunes changed dramatically when he accepted the role of Harry Callahan in Dirty Harry after several major stars passed on the project. The film became a cultural phenomenon, turning Eastwood into one of the most recognizable actors in the world. Though controversial for its violence and politics, the movie's success cemented his status as a major star and demonstrated that criticism could sometimes fuel popularity rather than destroy it. As his career expanded, Eastwood increasingly stepped behind the camera. He directed ambitious projects, often taking creative risks that others avoided. One of the most notable examples was The Eiger Sanction, filmed in dangerous mountain locations that led to a tragic on-set fatality. His commitment to realism earned admiration but also criticism from those who believed he sometimes pushed too far. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Eastwood became one of Hollywood's most bankable stars, building a reputation for efficiency, discipline, and independence. Yet behind the scenes, his personal life was growing increasingly complicated. Relationships overlapped, secrets accumulated, and family matters remained hidden from public view. Over the years, Eastwood became the father of 8 children with 6 different women, creating a family story far more complex than the image he projected on screen. Perhaps the most controversial chapter involved actress Sondra Locke, his longtime partner and co-star. Their relationship lasted for years before ending in a bitter legal battle that exposed deeply personal details. Locke accused Eastwood of manipulating her career and misleading her about professional opportunities. Court proceedings and lawsuits attracted widespread media attention, revealing accusations, hidden agreements, and private conflicts that tarnished Eastwood's carefully controlled public image. While the cases eventually settled, the controversy remained one of the most discussed episodes of his personal life. At the same time, revelations about other relationships and previously unacknowledged children continued to emerge. The existence of daughter Lori Murray, whose connection to Eastwood remained largely unknown for decades, added another layer to the public fascination surrounding his family history. Despite personal controversies, Eastwood's professional achievements continued reaching new heights. In 1992, Unforgiven transformed perceptions of him as a filmmaker. The film won Academy Awards for Best Picture and Best Director, proving that he was far more than an action star. Suddenly, critics who had once dismissed him began recognizing him as one of America's most accomplished directors. He followed that success with projects that demonstrated remarkable range. The Bridges of Madison County showcased a softer, more emotional side of his storytelling, while $1 Million Baby earned additional Oscars and further strengthened his reputation. By an age when many directors had long since retired, Eastwood was producing some of the most acclaimed work of his career. His ability to reinvent himself repeatedly became one of the defining features of his legacy. Meanwhile, his family remained a source of fascination and scrutiny. Children from different relationships gradually became public figures in their own right. Scott Eastwood followed his father into acting, while Francesca Eastwood gained attention through television and entertainment media. As more information emerged about the full extent of Eastwood's family, the contrast between his carefully crafted public image and his complicated private life became increasingly apparent. Stories about overlapping relationships, hidden connections, and decades of secrecy fueled tabloids and biographies alike. Yet despite the criticism, many of his children maintained relationships with him, creating a large and uniquely interconnected family. Eastwood also generated headlines outside entertainment. His memorable appearance at the 2012 Republican National Convention, where he addressed an empty chair representing President Barack Obama, became one of the most talked-about political moments of the year. Some viewed it as humorous and unconventional, while others saw it as confusing and damaging. The moment spread rapidly across television and social media, becoming part of modern political history. Around the same period, his marriage to Dina Ruiz began unraveling publicly. Reports of separation, emotional distance, and personal struggles dominated entertainment news, eventually leading to divorce after years together. Once again, Eastwood's private life found itself under intense public examination. Even well into his 90s, Eastwood refused to slow down. He continued directing major films, becoming the oldest filmmaker to helm large studio productions. Juror No. 2, developed when he was in his 90s, demonstrated the same work ethic and determination that had defined his entire career. Yet age inevitably became part of the conversation. Reports about health concerns, production delays, and questions about retirement followed nearly every project. Then came confusion surrounding a widely circulated interview that Eastwood later declared completely fake. The incident reminded the public that even at 95 years old, his words still carried enough influence to generate international headlines. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of Clint Eastwood's story is not simply his success, but his longevity. Few figures in Hollywood history have remained relevant across so many decades. He survived career setbacks, critical attacks, public controversies, personal scandals, changing cultural trends, and the inevitable challenges of aging. Along the way, he outlived many friends, colleagues, and collaborators. The young actor who once struggled to find work became an icon whose influence shaped generations of filmmakers and performers. Behind the legend stands a far more complicated man than the public image ever suggested, a man whose life included triumph and heartbreak, loyalty and controversy, family and secrecy, success and regret. Whether admired or criticized, Clint Eastwood remains one of the most fascinating figures in entertainment history, a living reminder that legends are often far more complicated than the stories told about them.